Sam Monson, Steve Palazzolo from PFF NFL show. Reasons for the Browns offense to be optimistic about the upcoming season.
The first reason for optimism has to be that it would be very difficult for Deshaun Watson to be as bad next year as he was last year. So any kind of improvement is going to help, and there's a large room for him to get better and get towards where we've last seen him. That 2020 grade was a 92.5, which puts him up there with the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, the Patrick Mahomes of the world, as basically one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Even if we assume that that is an unrealistic baseline, that throwing for 8.9 yards per attempt, he had a passer rating of 112 that year. If we assume that that's an unrealistic expectation, and even if he goes back to being the player that he was the 2 years before that, where his grade was 81.3, 82.7, a more realistic kind of area, that's still a jump in almost 30 grading points in where he was last season. So if that happens, they're in business.
Yeah, again, if he's a top 10 quarterback, they're an 11, maybe 12-win team, and I say that based on the fact that that division is that tough. I don't think anybody in the AFC North, including the Bengals, is winning 12 games.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's a tough division for sure. The Browns have the luxury of having the fourth place schedule from, what happened last season. So, they're going to play the AFC West and the AFC South, or NFC West and AFC South, which are two of the weaker divisions in football as well. So you can rack up some wins there. And again, what I like to think as a baseline is just what if they split in the division? What if they go 3-3? Kind of what are we looking at outside the AFC North? So it's going to be tough. But again, going back to Watson, going back to the offense, going back to the changes we're anticipating. And again, Watson had training camp. He was in the building all offseason as well. But once you get into the season and once you have Jacoby Brissett for 11 games and you try to flip a switch in week 12, like that's different from saying, well, he was in the building all offseason. But again, I don't want to make excuses, and I truly don't think there are any more excuses left for Kevin Stefanski, left for the Browns. They have a competitive roster. You have a full offseason, and you have 17 games with your starting quarterback. So it's now or never for this team. But I do think they're primed in a good position schedule-wise, and they're going to see some healthy progression back to the mean from Watson, I think, too.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, if he's a top 10 quarterback, they're in really good shape.